Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
All right. All right. First and foremost, we have to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem,
Hashem,
Yahweh
Yahweh
Shai.
Shai,
Shah,
Hashem,
Silver
Yahweh.
Dash.
Dash. Double honors and respect to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and taught us His truth. Much love, peace, and salutations to the Lord's elect, the whole elect and the 1/3. This is your brother Salah.
Brother Barak.
Yo, what's up?
Shalom. We're going to open up with the book of Sirach, or the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, right? Start at verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure. Make not haste in the time of trouble, right? And so the video topic is, right, the Lord, once you read this, this truth, right, the Lord's going to try us, with many trials, and temptations and tribulations, right? I mean, so like an example, right? You might be doing something, right? But like you might be focused on too many things, right? That you just end up what you're rushing. You try to get to everything at once, but then what happens? You end up making mistakes, right? Right, you start to do bad. You feel bad about the stuff you messed up on, and then that's when you become lukewarm, or you become what, complacent. You become complacent is because you're relying on instinct rather than you stepping back, taking a breather, and trying to adjust your focus on the stuff that matters the most, right? Just like the analogy with the rocks in the jar, right? You want to handle the big rocks first, but before you handle everything else, right? Because once you take out the big stuff, the big chunks, right, the stuff that you need to take out, everything else is going to follow, right? And so that's what we're trying to say, right? Is by saying, make not haste in the time of trouble, and it doesn't just mean like, you're scared, or you do this, that, like, but like what it means is, like, don't, like, don't be like complacent or absent-minded. I thinking that you could just, like, do the stuff that you did over, because that can mess you up if you're not focusing on the bigger hurdles, is because there might be something in your path that you don't notice, and then once you hit it, man, that's when you can get into a lot of trouble, right? Right, so what we're saying, what we're saying basically is take is take things a step at a time, right? Focus on the priority, and then everything else, right? It's gonna come in place, right? And that takes me to the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 33. But seek ye the kingdom first of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added onto you, right? So so whatever it is, right? In the moment, in the moment, right? That might be preventing you, right? From serving the Lord, because the main thing is serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Right. Right. When you're in this truth, like whatever it is, like if it's something that you absolutely need to take care of it first, man, and then focus on whatever you need to do in serving the Lord, right, and then everything else, man, is gonna come second nature. It's gonna become part of your habit and routine, in which is gonna make it which is gonna make it easier for you to go all throughout the rest of your day, or not easier, Slovakia, more manageable, rather, is what we're trying to say.
I got something.
Go ahead,
Yeah, Ecclesiasticus 37:14. For a man's mind
Man,
sometime wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in an high tower. Right? So your mind might be all over the place sometimes. Like you might have 7 different things, or well, 7 is a complete number, but you might have all these different things, distracting you, or you gotta do, you have this feeling you have to do this thing, and you have to do this thing, and you gotta become this. Like we knew a dude, this dude, he wanted to, run a business, same time be a pro gamer, right? Then, you go to the gym, right? And nothing's wrong with those things, right? But but no videos, no lessons, wasn't reading, right? Every time we play videos, what, go into the other room, right? You put all these things, above the scriptures first, then what your foundation is basically, just those other things, that it's not on these scriptures, right? And another thing is, right? We're supposed to be what we're supposed to strive for the mastery, right? I got First Corinthians 9 and chapter 9 verse 25. It says, "And every man that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things, and now they do it obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible." Right? But we're supposed to be what like masters of these scriptures. You know what I'm saying? We should understand these scriptures and prioritize them first before anything. So when you wake up, you gotta watch the brothers' lessons or read or make a lesson. Don't just go on fucking social media and start scrolling all. Because that's you're putting that first, man. That you're gonna be crashing out and bugged out throughout the day because that's what's the first thing that's on your mind.
And that's how you become lukewarm because why, man? You're not guarding or protecting your crown, right? Right. You're letting other things occupy your mind, your time. But before you take those those bigger priorities in your life, but in your life, right? But like what I'm trying to say is you're letting those other things take priority over the things you need to do first, which is this truth, right? Or things that might get in the way in this truth, like Salakia, like responsibilities. That's what I was trying to get at, right? Like I'll give an example, right? You could be at the job, right? You might be training someone on, but then on top of training someone, you have a bunch of responsibilities, right? And then if you let that stuff overwhelm you or over pressure you, what's going to happen? That pressure is going to eventually build up, right? Right, and what happens when that pressure builds up too much and you don't release some of it, meaning you don't prioritize one thing over another, such as you focusing on training that person. Well, you're gonna burst. Are you gonna make mistakes along the way? Yes, definitely, but what you don't want to do is what you get overwhelmed, you crashed out, you feel bad, and then what happens? You become lukewarm, and your ass gets out of the truth. That's what you don't want to happen, right? That's another thing. That's another thing, right? Or another part of you adjusting, right? You making those necessary adjustments when it comes to serving the Lord, right? Keep doing the same mundane thing. You keep making the same mistakes. What's gonna happen? Then you become lukewarm. Then if the Lord doesn't see you make improvements, right? That's when he's like give you the boot. Cast your ass out, man. And that's a fearful thing.
Yeah, that's why the was it Yahushua, he spoke about basically the seeds that basically got choked out by those thorns, right? Roughly
Let,
paraphrasing.
let's get that real quick. What precept was that, Ark?
Um, you can bring out
Oh,
parable of the seed. I don't know the exact
actually,
one, the book of Matthew, right? But
seeds.
that just goes to show you, man, these different things, bro. They choke the word of the Lord, right? And basically what they basically what? How do I say this? Like you get distracted by all these different things, then you stop reading precepts completely, then you stop making videos, and you stop watching brothers' lessons, and then you stop calling on the name of the Lord. This is the type of thing. Because what? Because basketball was too fucking important, or watching some women shake her fucking ass all day. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing, bro. And I don't want to go on a tangent, but like, people wake up, the first thing they do is, look at women's ass all day. That's basically spiking your dopamine. Save that shit for the end of the day or something. But because then everything else you're gonna do is gonna seem like boring because you're already you're fucking, you were just stimulated like a drug almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? People in America, they're high on something because they want to get away, right? Us in the truth, right? We need to put Yahweh Bashim out. We always need to put Yahweh Bashim out, shy first and foremost, right? That's why every morning you have to pray, man. The first thing you gotta do, right? Say a quick prayer, right? Pray, thank the Lord, say the Wadi Yahweh Bashim out, or get on your knees. And start saying a few prayers, man. Acknowledge the Lord before you do anything else in life, man. And then what? Everything else is gonna follow, right? Going back to to the parable of the seed sown, right? This is Yahushua teaches in parables, Matthew chapter 13, verse 1. And the same day went Yahushua out of the house, and sat by the seaside. A great multitude were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore, and he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, the sower went forth to sow. Verse 4. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside. Fowls came up and devoured them. Some fell on the stone upon stony places, and they had not much eaten, and 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 forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness of the earth. All right, meaning what? They weren't rooted. And when the sun was up, they were scorched because they had no root. They withered away. And some fell among the thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them out. Meaning what? They got overwhelmed. They got overpressured by so many things, rather than what prioritizing what their most important responsibilities to get to the truth, or even putting the truth first. You're right, because you taking care of whatever major responsibility you have to get to the truth, right? All right, that's gonna make everything else in your life follow, right? But if you but you know like but as the brother Barack says, if you you bullshit, right? You just doom scroll all day, and again, and yes, all of us are guilty of that. And instead of taking care of like said responsibilities, whatever it is, right, then what's gonna happen? You're gonna mess up. You're gonna make haste, and then all those things they're gonna compile on top of each other, and then what happens? You're gonna feel bad, and then that's when you get down in the spirit. You become lukewarm, and eventually that's when the Lord gives you the boot, man. You got choked up by them thorns.
And another thing is like, you see that these people that like they nowadays they can't even hold like a regular conversation. They're scrolling on their phone while someone is telling something to them, right? Or brother's trying to tell you wisdom, you're just over here fucking scrolling on YouTube Shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, there's one thing, brothers, yeah, you can, some people, they think you can like multitask but you have to, what's it called? You have to, when it comes to these precepts, man, you gotta like give it your full attention, you know? You can't be out, doing camp or on a lesson, then you're fucking, scrolling through Instagram Reels or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, man. What's gonna get you throughout this day is the milk precepts, right? Not necessarily the deep understandings, though the deep understandings they will help you, build up your faith in depth. But for you to get through certain of these situations, man, is what the milk. Because why? They're the principal things, man. And the principal things of this doctrine, to help you navigate throughout this life, man. That's why the scripture says, and we're gonna get it right now. Oldie but Goldie. Isaiah chapter 33, starting at verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation, and the fear of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is his treasure, man. So if you truly fear the Lord, man, if you and you like the like if you're overwhelmed, but you have faith and trust in in the Lord, right? The Lord's gonna guide you. He's gonna direct you. What's the most priority things? Whether he'll put the thought in your mind to to ask someone for help, or go research something, and then you might find something to help guide you in the right path, or give you a certain precept, man. Whatever it is, man. And if you have that fear, if you have that faith and trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, he will truly guide you.
Yeah, if you see the picture I put in the chat, if you can look at it.
Yeah, that's right, man. The rocks in the jar, right? So you put the sand in first, then you put in the other bigger rocks in it. Then guess what? The big rocks, your main priority. It's not gonna fucking fit. Why? Because you worried about the little things, right? The little things that didn't really matter at the end of the day. Instead of focusing on what that big rock, that big hurdle in your way. Because once you get that big hurdle out of your way, everything else will fall in line,
Yeah, and even
right?
if
And
you
just
Slack, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, man, everything will fall in line. You don't have to worry about that big rock anymore because it's not gonna be an issue.
I was gonna say, like, even if you you know, you read the Bible, right? You read a certain thing, right? Go back and get those breakdowns. You know what I'm saying? Because because a lot of people they try to use that as an excuse, right? Or you can always do more. You can always make more lessons. You can always make make more videos, right? Do more charitable works for the men of the Lord. You know, you you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be what is the word? Abounding, right? Basically we're supposed to be always doing about doing this work, in season and out of season, man. There shouldn't be any, you shouldn't be, oh, for 3 months I gotta go work this job, so I gotta stop making videos. You know what I'm saying? Or my kids told me this, because we know a guy that this dude uh, post about it said my woman, two a guy's gotta go, my rib, she's pregnant, made no lessons, no videos, man. 2 years, man. What the fuck are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck off my page, man. If you're gonna be just commenting, man, and don't call us a brother either, because what the scriptures say. Let me bring this out real quick.
I have something, Hawk,
Yeah, go ahead.
to add to that, right? Yeah. For those that want to forsake the truth, don't want to make their lessons because they have other priorities in life, man. Look, this is what the scriptures have to say about that. For whosoever will save his life, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean like you're in danger, right? Or in immediate danger. It could be stuff like, oh, I gotta focus on like this. I gotta, I gotta, those guys that didn't want to follow Yahushua because they want to leave like their wife, their family, their kids, right, or this time, right, you might be over, I guess, again, overwhelmed with your job, your woman, your kids, or whatever responsibilities, right? You put those things above Yahweh Shai, man. But before what, focusing on making those lessons, or whatever, reading, studying, man, watching brothers videos. Hell, you can watch brothers videos while you're doing certain types of works, if you're allowed to, man. But like,
Yeah, and just correct myself going back, right? Because don't get go. There's nothing wrong with watching videos while you're working. You know what I'm saying? But it's one thing you put these things, basically, well, on the back burner, where you're just not even, you're just watching it for entertainment. You watch a lesson, here and there, and you're just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or well, because there's some people there, they're weeks without lessons, man. Right? I have the book of Matthew 12:50. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So you're my, you want to call us brother or Ak? Well, start making videos, bro. Because you're not a brother until if you're not making no videos, man. Because it shows that you're supposed to have faith and works, man. Those two things go hand in hand. But it shows you really don't believe in these prophecies coming to pass. If you're not making any videos, you know what I'm saying? You're just honoring the Lord with your lips.
you're the damn wallflower. You're the seeds that fell by the wayside, man. You like you sprout on that rock, but you're not rooted, man. Meaning what? You're not showing the faith. Meaning you're not doing any sort of works. To show that you actually believe in the Lord, right? Right. You're not actually being tried or tested. Like, yeah, like yes, all of us go through some things, but like you're not going through anything like what's it called? Like severe to the point where you need to cry out to the Lord for help, man.
Yeah. There's no way for in 2 years you're going through something that bad that all of a sudden those 2 years there was not a single window of time where you weren't able to make a video. You weren't able to make a video. You know what I'm saying? Because you had time to go sleep. You had time to go eat, right? You're just bro, like,
You had time to go on your phone, doom scroll, look at TikTok, look at women shaking their ass, probably beat your fucking meat, or jerk yourself, or for you women finger yourself, or use a fucking toy, man. But instead of sitting there, taking notes, and for you brothers, right, making lessons and teaching, man.
Yeah, we know some people they're not meant to, they're not meant to be teaching, right? We know there's a certain role, but we're speaking about these people that they're making lessons, and then all of a sudden they just stopped. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just completely you're just completely not having no charity, just asking brothers for money only when it suits you. Saying, hey brother, in 3 months, don't message for months. Hey brother, and then start trying to build like some sort of you know um what is it, common ground, so that eventually you can ask for
Rapport.
money. Yeah, just bullshit, man. Fucking nonsense, bro. You're taking advantage of the men of the Lord's friends, the Lord's brethren, the Lord's brothers. Don't take advantage of the men of the Lord, man. But that's all I have to say, Ak. You got anything?
Yeah, man. So regardless, no matter what we gotta go through, man, even if it's bad, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 22, and it says here, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai. He shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." Right. So the Lord's not gonna give you more than what you can handle. Right. Whatever's on your mind, whatever you might feel over pressured. Right. Ask, pray to the Lord. Right. He might guide you. To a certain precept. Call that someone that's gonna help you. Adjust your footing and adjust your focus. Reprioritize something, and then once you get that major hurdle out of your way, everything else is gonna follow through, man. So as long as you have that trust, your faith, and you're serving Yahweh Bashim Yahshua first and foremost. Why? Because it is the Lord that guides these people's steps, and let's get that. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai directeth his steps, right? So, you might have these plans, right, or whatever. You might think you're going to do this, that, and the third, but ultimately, it's the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to guide you, right? He's either going to guide you in the right path or on the wrong path, man. Man, depending if you are truly serving Him or not, man. That's why the fear of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is important first and foremost, right? Because why, man? If you have that fear, man, if you're doing everything that you need to do, the Lord's gonna help you out, man. But if not, he's gonna be a snare to you, right? You put him off. You basically said in your mind, nah, fuck all this. I got this. All right then. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
and that's why the scriptures say what you brought out in the beginning, right? It says set thy heart aright and constantly endure, right? Set thy heart aright, meaning what? The heart goes into the mind, right? So set your mind on, get your mind straight on your priorities, man.
And jumping back to Ecclesiastes chapter 2, right? And the next verse says, "Cleave unto him and depart not away, and thou mayest be increased at thy end in the last," right? Meaning what, man? The Lord, at the very end of this, man, the Lord's going to show you that hope, that light at the end of the tunnel, and ultimately, what we need is what? Salvation, man. That's why we in this thing. That's remember why you making videos, man. Remember why you studying, reading, fasting, praying, man. And it's so Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. That he's gonna direct our ways, man. That and not react on instinct, but what we gotta take that breather. The Lord's gonna fill our minds with His thoughts, right? He's gonna direct our ways, rather than us reacting on impulse, right? That fight or flight response. Right. Verse 4: For whatsoever is brought upon thee, take thee cheerfully, is because that's the Lord testing you, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Meaning you down and out. That doubt starts to creep in your mind, but you can have that faith no matter what. Because why? Verse 5: For gold is tried in the fire and acceptable in the furnace of and men, and it's like an acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way right, and trust in him. Right. Right. And ye that fear in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Right. All right. And what it means to go aside, right, is what you have doubt. You don't think he's gonna save you. Right. Right. You're relying on your own understanding, rather than and then accepting the chastisement of the Lord. You want to take the easy way out. There ain't no easy way out, man. What you got to do is, man, you got to focus on that responsibility, man. That most important task that is at hand, because it's only the Lord that's going to guide you out of it, man. You can't avoid the problem.
What does the scripture say? Enter ye in the straight gate. You can't
The-
take any back door, any, crossroad. It doesn't work, man.
Enter ye. That's a good one. Enter ye the street. Oh, it's lucky. Yeah, Matthew chapter 7, starting at verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Right. Right. These other alternative ways, man. That's what the Lord said. No, learn not the way of the heathen. Right. Meaning what? Don't take in their ideas, their philosophies. Their alternative lifestyles. And many there wish to go and treat, but because because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, a few there be that find it, right? Meaning what? If you there's only a few that's gonna be willing, that faith and trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and to only fear him, right? Because why? People fear men. People fear men have to see, say, and do, rather than what the Lord has to do, man. Because remember, the Lord controls man, not men control their own fates, man. Everything. Remember, everything is predestined, man. So trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. But that's pretty much all I got, Doc.
Yeah, that's all I have.
All right. So with that, I hope this lesson's been edifying and uplifting and exhorting to you sincere Akib and Akwath. And with that, we like to say, Call Halayim La Abanawa Yahweh
Yahweh,
Bashem Yahushai
Hashem
Hashem,
Barakadash.
Yahushai, Bashim,
Hashem
Hakadash.
Rakadash. Double honors and respect to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us his truth. Much love, peace, and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in the 1/3. This is your brother Salah.
Brother Barak.
Yo, what's up?
Shalom.
With that, with the city.